How many mornings have you woken up, looked in the mirror and thought, why I'm doing all of that? And there was this quiet voice in your head that is telling you there should be more. You don't really know what it is and how to get there. But deep inside, you know the voice in your head is right. For more than 15 years, I was chasing a corporate career. I was busy on working on someone else's dreams. And my own was slowly dying. But today I'm talking to you from a new life in Mexico. Because 4 years ago, me and my family, we made a bold decision. We quit our jobs, we sold our house, our cars, and basically everything else, and we went for an adventure to Mexico. I built a successful business, we're still here, and I never looked back. And today we're talking about why you sometimes have to go all in and why your moment is now. So what were some stakes and consequences for myself when I was going all in? First of all, I gave up security. I gave up a successful but average life. And I gave up also the understanding and the compassion of a lot of other people, including my family and many of my friends. But this video isn't about me. It's about you. And I think if you clicked on this video, I think you have sometimes similar thoughts. And today we will unroll and uncover them and see where we can go from here. I also have a disclaimer. This video isn't for everyone. If you're comfortable with your 9 to 5, if you're okay with asking yourself over and over again, what if for the rest of your life, then click away now. That's completely okay. Many people are okay with this life and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you're tired of playing small and if you're ready to go all in, then stay here. I will share with you what it takes, what's the price, and how you can ensure that you will be successful. So why did I say you shouldn't wait? And why do I think your moment is now? That's very simple. Because life is short and time is our most precious resource. And it's not renewable. So once it's gone forever. But still we tend to waste our life with activities that bring us only short-term pleasure or with things that doesn't matter at all. And the more we do that, the more these things create our misery. The problem here is it's always easier to do the next step that brings us gratification than to do a few steps towards our goals and towards our long-term success. Now let's face some painful truth. If you are not living to your fullest potential, you're in a state that I call the loser valley. Let's think for one moment thoroughly about our own potential. And if you're honest to yourself, you will always come to the conclusion that we could do more. And don't worry, you're not alone with that. That applies to all of us. It's just that usually we avoid these thoughts because they make us uncomfortable. Because they make us aware that we're actually behind of what we can really have or achieve. And the more aware we are of this fact, the more it hurts. Well, but that's actually a good thing because the bigger our pain, the more likely is our ability to change. Now, since we have this latent pain and we feel that sometimes, we're also making some small commitments because they give us some release and they make us feel a little bit better. So we decide to try something new or do something different. And we do that for a while until we reach the first obstacle or something doesn't go as expected. And then we stop again and we fall back in our comfort zone. Or we make this decision to change something or something has to change. But not today. Today is not a good day. Let's start tomorrow. Tomorrow is still sufficient time. And actually that's true, right? I mean, it's only one day. The problem is tomorrow will never come. Because tomorrow will be today. And you will also not do it tomorrow. And also not the day after tomorrow. Let's analyze quickly our current situation. So we're stuck somehow in our comfort zone. We have there actually everything we need to have a comfortable life. And it's very difficult to get out of there. And we also develop this need for safety or for security. And we think this gives us insurance that our life will be okay. And if we decide then to do something different, of course we also want to have this safety that's there. Because we don't want to risk to end up in a situation that is worse than we have already. But I tell you something, there are no safety nets. Not in your comfort zone and not if you're going out of your comfort zone. Safety nets are just illusion. You always have the risk to lose everything. But if you jump into the unknown, into the adventure, you also have the chance to win everything. That's the difference. So what is the real cost of living in this comfort zone and having this mediocre life? I will tell it to you. The real cost is if you wake up one day and you will notice now it's too late to change something, and you realize that you didn't live the life that you wanted to have. Now let's quickly look into something fascinating, which is game theory and how it applies to personal development. In game theory, there's a principle that's called the dominant strategy. It assumes that there's one choice that is always better for you, no matter what the other players are doing. That means it considers always the best outcome for you. And the best outcome you will get is if you focus only on your own moves, no matter what the other players are doing. Because they're really not relevant for your success. You only focus on your own strategy. That requires also that you understand that life is not a zero-sum game. If you're winning, it doesn't mean that someone else has to lose. Now, the problem is that 95% of the people are not playing the dominant strategy. Because they don't understand the concept. They think if they do what the others do, and they contribute to society in a common and predictable way, everyone will benefit. And that is what leads to the Nash equilibrium of mediocrity. Which means that everyone stays comfortable. And you don't want to break out because that disrupts the equilibrium state. And that's why also the people will pull you back because they value conformity higher than personal success. They follow this false belief that if you outperform, you will harm society or somebody else needs to lose. And that's not acceptable in our society today. But what you need to understand is if you choose growth, it is the better solution for everyone. And with growth, I mean real personal growth that includes building your own legacy and living to a purpose. I'm not only talking about chasing money, right? But if you follow your purpose, that means you provide value to society and everybody benefits from that. Now, of course, it would be the best strategy if everybody would go all in, but also if only you do it, there will be a common benefit. Now, the only thing you have to deal with is your internal conflict, because people won't understand and eventually they won't support you, right? So what you have to do is believe in yourself and believe in your capabilities. Now let's have a look on a common misconception, which is the one of gradual growth. You all heard these advices, right? Become 1% better every day. Do small changes for improvement. But see, the problem is they don't work for most people. I consider them really bad advice. And the 1% better solution, I mean, it's a nice theory, but usually it doesn't work. The problem here is that if you extend your comfort zone by 1% every day, you don't really break through that, right? You're just expanding it a little bit and it will pull you back. And after a while, you will be back in your old habits. People who try different diets, they will know what I'm talking about. You find a new promising diet. You try it for 1, 2, 3, 4 days. You succeed to eat less. You lose some kilos. But then the next Sunday, there's this birthday party. And there's this nice, beautiful cake. And because you were so successful, of course you make yourself a present and you eat 3 pieces of cake. And after that, you're frustrated. And you fall back in your old pattern. The other problem with getting 1% better every day is actually you're staying behind your potential. I mean, maybe you can be 10 or 20 or 50% better. Why wouldn't you do that? Why you should do only 1%? And I'm not saying you can get every day 50% better. But maybe on some days you're getting 50% better. And sometimes you will maybe stay the same. But if you strive always for just getting a little bit better, you will stay behind your potential. So make sure to give always the best. Now, the other way to make changes is radical or revolutionary changes. And if you look back in history, this is what most successful people did, right? They didn't change something just by 1%. They did really fundamental changes to something. And that's where we, or humanity, gained the most benefits from. The concept of radical change is quite different. First of all, you won't see these small successes every day. You need to have a long-term focus. Later in the video, we will learn how we can create small wins. But in general, it's more focused on the long-term benefit. That's why you should give such a change a time frame of 3 months to about 2 years. Because this is where you can create really leverage. Now, if you're saying, yeah, Ingo, I get it, but I don't really know where to go. I don't really know my direction. I'm not so sure about my path and my purpose. Then let me tell you, that doesn't really matter. Just make your commitment and follow your commitment, and you will figure it out later. Nobody knows exactly what will be 2 years down the road. Now there's an important supportive concept in radical change, which is burning down the ships. It's based on the story of Hernán Cortés. So if you don't know who was Hernán Cortés was one of the early discoverers coming from Europe to America, and he landed on the new continent with about 600 people. And what he did after they landed is he burned down all the ships. And that meant he left only one option open. There was no way to go back to Europe. They just had to succeed. He eliminated all strategies except one: succeed or perish. Now let's talk about the psychological aspects of going all in. First of all, there will be a mental transformation. And the first part is your perspective on fear. Because fear isn't your enemy. It can be your fool if you use it correctly. What happens if you go all in is that the fear of failure transforms into a fear of regret. And that's a powerful driver. The other thing that happens is, since you eliminated all the safety nets and all the other options, you also eliminate all the distractions, right? So that means you can really focus on one thing and build a tunnel vision on that. You become really obsessed on what you're doing. And also your brain operates differently when there's no plan B. Because necessity drives action. So this strategy really isn't about being reckless. It's about being relentless. It's about making success your only option. And that increases the chances that you will succeed. An important success factor is also language. Because language is what we use to tell stories to ourselves or to hear stories from other people. But language builds the stories, and the stories eventually become our beliefs. So make sure you choose your language wisely. And stop using language that is packed with negations or with conditions, like I should, I could. Make your language powerful and positive. Another point I want to talk about is how you can change from something you're interested in to something you're committed in. I mean, it all starts with your interests, right? With your passions. But it cannot always stay like that. So you need to turn your interest into real commitment and remove the conditions to do certain things. And there are tools to support you in this transformation. They're called commitment devices, and these are strategic moves that eliminate the future options to ensure success. It can be something like if you're paying for expensive coaching, or if you make your declarations in public, or if you, like Hernán Cortés did, you're burning the bridges to old careers, like quitting your job. Such measures will strongly increase your commitment. There's one problem I didn't share with you so far, why many people are not making such radical changes. And this is the so-called sunk cost fallacy. How old are you? How long did you work in or on your career? I assume pretty long. And if that's the case, that's why people rather do the next small step instead of making a radical change. Because they don't want to admit that they were wrong. Because if you would give up a career now that lasted 10, 20, 30 years, and now suddenly you do something else, it feels weird. It feels like you're admitting that you wasted your life. And most people will avoid these sunk costs. It's like with this investment. If you invest in a business that costs you $1 million, and now you understand the business is not going good and it was the wrong decision, most people will still continue to invest. I mean, eventually they will invest smaller amounts, but they could add up to another 1 million of investment, even that they know already that's the wrong way. Just because they don't want to make this admittment and they don't want to lose this first million. But the point is, this first part of your life or this first million, it is already lost. So you won't bring it back whatever you do. So it still makes sense to do the right decision today rather than continuing on your wrong path. And also, I wouldn't see it in a way that you wasted your life. I mean, you can still have been successful and you still made your learnings and they can be beneficial for the rest of your life. So see each experience, each failure as an opportunity to grow and learn and make the best out of it. It wasn't wasted. Now, how can you actually become unstoppable? Well, it starts with a decision. With your decision. And once you made this decision, you need to design an environment for success. Remove all distractions. create barriers between your old and your new habits, and make it easier to do the right things rather than the wrong things. And stop putting conditions behind your goals. Goals with conditions are useless. If you set a goal, go for it, no matter what it takes. You also have to design clear priorities. Focus on one thing and stick with it. Now let's have a look on common obstacles and how you can actually overcome them. You don't feel ready yet? Well, that's okay. Nobody is ready. Nobody starts ready. So just get started. You will never be ready. The trick here is that you're learning while you're going. If you only do things that you're ready to do, you're doing them too late. At this point, you have to do already the next level. You're telling me you don't have time to work on new things? So I tell you, that's a lie. We all have time. Actually, we all have the same amount of time, right? We all have 24 hours every day. We all have 7 days a week. And we all have 52 weeks a year. So if you don't have time, it's just because it's not important enough for you. So make it a priority. In the end, it's your life. So what should be your priority? Another point might be that you're missing eventually the courage to do things. And you're saying, Ingo, okay, maybe you can do it, but it's really not for me. And I'm not courageous. I'm a chicken. And I mean, I get it. I was the same. But let me tell you that courage can be learned. And I think it not only can be learned, I think it should be learned because it's something very powerful and also something very beautiful that will bring you a lot of beautiful experiences. Even if you don't think you're an adventurer, go out and try some new adventures. Because, most people will be surprised how much happy a small adventure or some uncomfortable situation can make them. So go out and do things that make you feel uneasy. And do this intentional. Seek the adventure, seek the unknown, and embrace that. And I promise you, in most of the cases, you will be rewarded for that. With beautiful experiences, with more courage, and with new knowledge. So where are we now? Are you ready to go all in? Here and now? Then let's have a look on your action framework. The immediate next step is make your commitment. Make it clear and loud. If that's what you want to do, start with our 30-day challenge here. And the first step in the 30 days is create your strategy. Outline your vision and make a plan how you can get there. And then implement daily habits that will support your growth. Make the commitment to stay with it. And one recommendation I would have is keep it secret, at least from the people from your old environment, because there's the risk that they eventually will not support you, or at the very least they won't understand what you want to do. They can cause doubt in you. Another important step is also practice affirmation and visualization of your future self. Don't underestimate it. These are very powerful rituals that help you really to get where you want to be and to become the person you really want to be. And after this 1 month challenge, if your strategy is clear and you build some confidence that you can actually do that, make your decision final. Burn down all your ships and all your bridges behind you. And then create a tunnel vision and get obsessed. And then start to celebrate the small wins, day over day, and create your legacy. Because once you go all in, you create a new equilibrium, one in which excellence becomes your default state. Your new normal becomes what used to be your best. And I promise you, you will feel lighter and better. Because you have nothing to lose anymore, you only have to win. And you will win. Don't worry. Keep the faith. So if that landed for you, make your commitment here and now. Share it below in the comments. We will keep you accountable, because accountability is also something that's big and important. And if you're not so sure, or if you have any question, share them also below. But only here and not with everyone. I look forward to reading your comments. Have a wonderful day and make sure to make it count. And see you in the next video.